It's next on the Broadway Show. Hello, gorgeous. Beanie Feldstein, the star of Broadway's first ever revival of Funny Girl, is on the show. Plus, getting squiggy with it. We're talking about the lights of Broadway with the artist known as Squigs. And all hail the Queens of Six. You'll get to know one member of Broadway's royal family, Samantha Pauly. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is the Broadway Show. It's the Broadway Show, and we're back with another good one. I'm Tamsen Fadal. We're on the road to the Tonys, and it's been a massive week on Broadway with one big opening after another. First up, it's Macbeth, starring former James Bond Daniel Craig and Ruth Negga.
I feel there's a new feeling. I've not quite felt it before, really. It's just this kind of a real hunger and a thirst for a live performance, and there's a mutual gratitude between the cast and the audience, you know, that's really beautiful.
The heartbeat of any city is its culture, and we, you know, that New York of all cities is like, you know, is known for that, and I'm just very proud to be here, to be sort of hopefully a sort of reawakening of that on Broadway.
This is my 13th opening of a Broadway show this month. It's like this quest. I don't know that I have anything else to say other than I'm still excited. I still look forward to it. It's live theater at its best. This Scottish play is a classic, and Daniel and Ruth, I'm so excited for them and rooting for them and excited to be told a story.
And comedy legend Billy Crystal is back on Broadway in the musical Mr. Saturday Night. It's based on his 1992 movie.
This has been a joy. This character has been in my soul since like 1984, and I first did him a little bit on an HBO special called The Comic Slam, and I brought him to SNL when I was there, and then we did another special called Don't Get Me Started, and then the film, and now here he is. You know, David and I love this brother of mine. I was 42 when we did the movie. He was 37. We had 6 hours of makeup a day. Now we just show up.
He's done this character on SNL, but I remember it from a HBO special called Don't Get Me Started. It was one of the best comedy specials to ever air. Buddy Young Jr., Catskills, like Borscht Belt comedian, like an insult comic, and him to do it now, I cannot wait for this. I'm so excited. Billy Crystal means he is New York. He's comedy.
It's somebody that we all grew up watching, and movies, and like you said, all the way back to soap.
It's back to soap, right.
And so it's a special treat to get to see him live and in person.
Just always funny.
He's timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's just as funny as he was at, 20 as he is at now 40.
Did you ever think Billy's now 43.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
The hilarious new Broadway farce POTUS also just opened with some serious laughs. It's about the all-female staff in the White House who work behind the scenes to keep the president from destroying the country. It stars Rachel Dratch, Vanessa Williams, Lily Cooper, and more. And finally, it's the opening of A Strange Loop. It's Michael R. Jackson's Pulitzer Prize-winning musical about a black gay musical theater writer and Broadway usher who's writing a musical about a black gay musical theater writer who works as a Broadway usher, hence A Strange Loop. Hello, gorgeous. It's the first ever Broadway revival of Funny Girl since it debuted nearly 60 years ago. The role of Fanny Brice made famous by Barbra Streisand. Now the part belongs to Beanie Feldstein. Let's send it out to Charlie Cooper.
Thanks, Tamsen. Fanny Brice is a long-time dream role for Beanie. We sat down here at the Skylark to chat all about it. So excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here.
This is the first revival of Funny Girl in 60 years. This is huge. Essentially, you have the titular role. Talk to me about how that feels.
It feels surreal. I mean, that's really the only way to describe it. It's like something that I've loved literally my entire life, and I've always idolized and has always been a part of who I am, and
and kind of how I grew up and all of it. And then, so there's like this childhood side of it where it's like, you know, just my first love really was this story. But then as an adult, it's like getting to be in this room with this group of people, with this creative team. It's been a really special experience with them and with our company. And we have like 9 onstage Broadway debuts, I think 22 people in the building making their Broadway debut. So there's just like, it's a real beautiful energy at the August Wilson right now.
What drew you to that, like, just Funny Girl in general as a kid?
I mean, I was 2, so I'm just reaching here really for the answer, but I think her ambition. I think, you know, Fanny, the character of Fanny Brice and the person that was Fanny Brice, she was just unrelenting, unapologetic of just like, I know I can do this. Like, get out of my way, give me the opportunity, open the door for me. I am a star. I can be this person you don't believe I can be. And I think that's kind of intoxicating. Even as like a little tiny girl, I was like, that energy of, I am, you know, in her words, the greatest star. I can do this. I can just let me be myself and kind of never change for anyone else. I think that might have been it.
Talk to me, because I know you kind of mentioned or alluded to so many people making their Broadway debuts in the building. What's that energy feel like, and like just being on stage with each other?
It's the greatest. I mean, we have 2 girls in the company, Mariah and Masu, who cry almost every day, and I'm crying along with them because I remember when I was doing Hello Dolly, like, and even now with Funny Girl, there's not a minute that you take for granted, because when we all in this room know, when you grow up loving theater, it's this powerful, palpable thing, and at the end of it is Broadway. You just dream of this constantly.
You've done a lot of different roles that have been incredibly captivating, Book Smart, Hello Dolly. What does this particular role mean to you?
You know, I think if there's one sort of maybe through line across different characters, different women I've been lucky enough to play, whether it's in something like Book Smart or playing Monica Lewinsky, like, you know, completely different energies and narratives, I think that I've played a lot of unapologetic women, and I think that is kind of one of my greatest gifts in my career. And Fanny is like the pinnacle. I believe that she, as, you know, the real person that was Fanny Brice, if there's any Jewish woman that gets to be on a stage and perform and be herself and make people laugh and sing, it's because of Fanny Brice. Bet, Barbara, Sarah Silverman, any of us, like, we could just be traced back to Fanny, because she just broke through so many glass ceilings and really forced her way into rooms and onto stages that weren't built for her, that she was trying to be kept out of. And so to get to play a woman like that, to honor a woman like that, that is just, it's, you know, remarkable.
How do you make the role your own?
Well, as Fanny says, you can only, I mean, when you're a bagel on a plate full of onion rolls, you just are. Like, and you know, there's many types of bagels. Maybe the person who played it before me, the queen, is a sesame, I'm an onion. You know, like, we can all be our own flavor of bagel. And maybe Fanny herself was like a pumpernickel or a cinnamon raisin, who knows?
Justin Robertson, also known as Squigs, has been putting his stamp on Broadway for years in the form of illustrations capturing bright stars and landmark shows. Now he's released his amazing creations as the collectible Lights of Broadway show cards. Paul's here with more.
That's right, Tamsen. Justin Robertson, aka Squigs, has been dazzling Broadway with his illustrations for well over a decade now. I met up with him at the theater haunt Sardi's to discuss his work, his inspirations, and his ever-popular Lights of Broadway show cards. I love your work because it all has a great through line. When you see one of your pieces, you know, okay, well, Squigs drew that. But also, you really capture so many moods and styles and visuals, and like it's really fun.
One of my goals is to reflect what so many people have put into each show, not just the people that are on stage and performing, but the designers, and you know, try to I try to incorporate a certain direction that is pivotal and really meant something to me while I was watching it as an audience member. I'm just so enthusiastic, so you know, trying to put as much in as possible.
Okay, so not only do you create these amazing drawings you put out into the world, you also now have these Lights of Broadway cards.
Yes, Lights of Broadway
and there are
show
a lot
cards.
of them. So you do individual sort of like play. It's like baseball cards.
It's baseball cards for
us
Broadway
show
fans.
kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Broadway fans.
We came out with our first edition this summer of 2015. We were lucky at that point to have a lot of shows on Broadway that had a bunch of kids in them. You know, our demographic is really wide. We have, you know, people of all ages collecting the cards. But that particular year, we were at the flea market with the cards, and some of the cast of School of Rock and Matilda and Kinky Boots came by the table, and they were all buying packs. And they were not only doing that, but they were like calling out to people walking by, buy some cards so we can trade with you. And to hear like an 11-year-old kid go, I got a Stephen Sondheim, he's the king. I literally in the middle of Times Square burst into tears because I'm like, oh, this is obviously striking a chord with some people. And it made us know that we had something, you know, kind of special.
So every year you release a new set.
Mm-hmm.
So you just recently released the
2021
edition.
At the end of last year. You want to open a pack?
Oh my God, I would love to
open a pack.
So every pack is different.
Yeah, there's 5 cards in each pack.
5 in each pack. And how many cards?
In this edition, we have I think 120, 130-ish cards.
Okay, so I got Martin Charnin, who created Annie, a very important show. And so on the back, you have great bios of
some
everybody.
fun facts,
I love these, actually. They're really well written. And then I got a Lion King, Circle of Life. Oh, wait. Oh, so, okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that, because I got a couple of those.
two-sided.
I got a couple of those cards as well. We in the past 2 editions, we've done like a 9-card mini-series where it follows a theme, and then on the back, you collect all 9, and it creates one big illustration. But yeah, it's super fun.
And I got Terrence Archie, who's currently married to Patti LuPone in Company.
Yes.
And he also fought Andy Carl in Rocky.
Yes.
Pat Suzuki, icon.
Yes, this is from our mini-series that we have called Golden Age, and we pick Broadway legends who had maybe their heyday in like the 1960s and before.
Amazing.
And so we have a lot of really
Who'd you
amazing. I got Graciela Danielle, a legendary Broadway performer, choreographer, director.
Created Once on This Island, one of the best shows
amazing. And I got like Hairspray. I got Joshua Henry.
Nice.
Yes,
Very
amazing.
talented guy.
This edition we have a couple of movie musical cards.
Oh.
So we have a little In the Heights here. So
In the Heights movie.
Yeah. So and then we have a West Side Story movie card as well.
You actually have a card there that I think I need to look at.
Is this the card?
Yeah.
Yes, we are coming out with a new wave of press cards. And
Press cards?
Yes. And so you take a peek at that.
So this is the Broadway show with Tamsen Fadal, the card, and I am featured on it along with Charlie Cooper and Tamsen Fadal. So let's talk quickly about your process. What is the actual process of seeing it until the finished piece?
I'll find out what I'm going to be drawing, and I look up what visuals are out there. When I go to the theater, I take a little notebook with me and take notes, and they look awful. It's nothing.
Drawings.
Little drawings and writing down words, just to remind me of something. And then I go home and I make a pencil sketch, put a clean piece of paper over it, and do an ink sketch over that. And then the ink sketch goes into Photoshop, scan it into the computer, and I do my layout and coloring in Photoshop.
Right. So it's a combination of hand and computer.
Yeah, exactly. Old school and new school.
And all of this stuff is available. What is the website?
Our website is thelightsofbroadway.nyc. And if you happen to be in Midtown, just down the street here, Theater Circle on 44th Street and 1 Schubert Alley in Schubert Alley are stocking our cards. And I think they actually also have the playing cards in stock as well.
Since we're at Sardi's, we are surrounded by drawings of Broadway stars and Broadway creatives. I would love to talk a little bit about the history of this place, because I think you know it.
I know a lot about this. Sardi's opened in this location in like 1927. Vincent Sardi Sr. was looking for a bit of a gimmick to get people to come in off the street, and he saw a guy named Alex Gard drawing locals, regulars on napkins, and hired him to draw caricatures. And their first contract, their only contract, gave him as payment for these caricatures 1 meal a day. So he could have a free meal every day at Sardi's for his caricatures that he did on the walls. And so he was around the late 20s, and he passed in 1948. They were going to retire the tradition, but the locals and the regulars were like, no, keep it going. And so they found an artist named John Mackey, who had a short run, about 5 years, and then he was replaced with Donald Bevan. He retired in 1976, and then they had a contest to find a caricaturist.
Oh, wow.
And the person that they found was Richard Barretts, who I think at that point was studying at School of Visual Arts, studying banknote and certificate engraving. and caricatures on the side. And so he started doing the caricatures then and has been doing them ever since. But in the mid-90s, there is a small window of time that I think Richard might have been doing something else, but they had someone sub in for a short window of time. Her name is Marilyn Church, and she's well known as a courtroom illustrator, but she still creates fine art. You can still find her art around here. And all of these are actually reproductions. When a new person is caricatured, the original goes in a vault, and 2 copies are made. One goes to the subject and one goes on the wall and is signed. And that is because when Jimmy Cagney died, someone walked in,
stole it,
took it off the wall, walked out with it, and it was never solved.
Would-be criminals don't consider it. These are not originals.
Yes.
There's still a whole lot more to talk about on this edition of The Broadway Show.
Coming up, 6 reigns supreme. You'll meet one of the queens of Broadway, Sam Pauly.
I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.
This is Randy Rainbow, and you're watching The Broadway Show. We'll be right back.
Thanks for staying with us for this latest episode of The Broadway Show. Glad you're here.
Listen up, let me tell you a story. Welcome to the show, to the history.
The Queens of 6 are Broadway royalty, and Sam Pauly plays Catherine Howard. She's this week's fresh face.
Hi, I'm Sam Pauly, and I play Catherine Howard in Six the Musical on Broadway. I grew up in Iowa. Six is my first Broadway show, so having grown up in the Midwest and not really doing a lot of theater when I was younger, this is still all very surreal to me. I didn't start doing theater until the end of my junior year of high school. Then that summer, before my senior year of high school, we took a trip to New York City. It was my first time seeing a Broadway show, and the first show we saw was Wicked. But I remember watching Defying Gravity and having a moment of, oh, I want to do that. I'd never seen anything like it. I didn't know that's what theater could be. I said no to auditioning for Six 3 times, partly because I wanted to be done because I had just come off of the ill-fated Bat Out of Hell tour that abruptly got canceled. I was so discouraged mainly because that was going to be my first national tour and I had such high hopes for what it could bring and felt so much disappointment that in my mind and in my heart especially, I felt like it wasn't worth that heartache to keep trying. And Six came around, I said no, sorry. A couple days later, they came around again. They came back a 3rd time. Our music director, Roberta Duchek, called me and said, you know, we've had the first couple days and I just think this is your show. The way that my life changed in less than a year from when Bat Out of Hell closed and I went back to Chicago, just absolutely mind-blowing. I do have 3 dream roles, like top 3. Elphaba and Wicked, have to, just waiting, please. I'm waiting. I'm dying for, please someone, Andrew Lippa Wild Party revival. I would love to play Kate. That's been a dream role for a long time. I would love to play Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar. Anyone struggling to embrace their inner queen, don't ever make yourself smaller to accommodate how others are feeling. Just always be the best version of yourself. The more you can just be yourself and not care, it's just so refreshing.
Welcome back to The Broadway Show. I'm Charlie Cooper. The big Broadway comeback is complete, and that means the Broadway.com Audience Choice Awards are back too. Now you have the chance to help us celebrate the brightest and best stars on Broadway. This is cool. It's the only major theatrical prize awarded exclusively by the votes of you, the fans. Some of the categories include Favorite Musical, Favorite Diva Performance, and Favorite Breakthrough Performance. And guess what? It's not just for Broadway shows. There's a big prize for our national tours too. That means theater fans in New York and all over the world have the chance to help us celebrate Broadway's biggest stars and best shows. You can head on over to Broadway.com to nominate your favorites, and we'll send it back over to you, Tamsen.
The Broadway Show is back in just a sec. That's all for now. I'll see you next time. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.